You'll notice now that we have to go a bit off map to get to Job, because Job, as far as the wisdom tradition goes, is not really the primary tradition. Proverbs has the primary tradition for us. And so when we get to Job, what we really have, how we're going to refer to this, is as the counter wisdom tradition. So it's something, Job is a book that is within the wisdom tradition, but it rubs up against the retribution theology, excuse me, that's found in Proverbs. And one of the ways that it does this, the primary way that it does this, is it presents us with a righteous man, a man who's never done anything wrong, named Job, who has never done anything wrong. That's not really the way righteousness works. The story tells us that he's righteous. So he's clearly a man that's taken hold of wisdom. And so if we're looking back at those binaries that we had in the book of Proverbs, then that indicates to us that everything should go well for him. And at the beginning of the story, that is certainly the case. Everything is going really well for Job. And then he loses everything. And he ends up in an ash heap in the town square. And the biblical account says that he is, there's my face, here he is, that he scratches his sores. He has open boils all over his skin, and he scratches himself with bits of pottery as he sits in the ashes. And it's here when he's in this position that his three friends come to check on him because they fear that he's doing really poorly, and they just so happen to be right. And his three friends are named Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar. And these three guys are not the kind of friends that you want to have. Instead, they are terrible, terrible friends. And when their friend Job is in this really excruciating, difficult situation, they tell him that he needs to repent, that he has somehow, in some way, gone after folly, and that if he would just turn back to wisdom, turn back to God, then God would reward him again. The only possible explanation, according to them, is that Job has done something wrong to anger God, and that is why he's lost everything. So these friends have Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar understand the wisdom of the Proverbs. They understand that binary structure and that idea that the world should function according to a moral code of some sort, wisdom somehow. And that if you're righteous, then things should go well for you. That's at least what's held out in Proverbs. And so they come to Job and they see what he's going through and they say, well, you must have done something wrong. Now, I have to apologize to you up front because I don't know how to tell this story other than to read it out loud to you. And so I'm going to give you the option. You can either stop here and just ignore the next video, and go and read the book of Job for yourself, or you can watch me in the next video kind of working through what's going on in Job. And it will be kind of reading rainbow-esque, I guess, because I am legit just going to sit here and read to you from the book of Job. So that's how we are going to deal with this counter-wisdom tradition. It's a great story, and I think you will appreciate it.